Hi, the next stage on the Alpha. I've done the outer wing and the arch. I've also finished the inner arch and the moulding, that's all welded in. But now I've got the back of the wing to repair. There's a section I want to replace and it's going to come up, take out this old repair, go around there. There's a folded lip to sort out. There's a few swage lines to line up. And this is also a double curvature, so there's a bit of English wheel to do. I reckon it'll be really interesting. I've taken a few minutes to decide how I'm going to tackle this. And the first thing I'm going to do is get this alignment between the boot lid and the wing a lot better than it is now. It sits about 5mm below where it should be. This panel should be inside here, not on the outside. I know that the wing is in the right place because the gaps are good on the door, and I know that the boot lid is in the right place. It's square with the body, it's square with both wings. So that is in the right place. The only thing that's not right is this wing. Looking at it, we can see a swage line there. Almost lines up. It's probably only 1 or 2 mil different. But the distance between there and there is 5mm longer than the distance between there and there. So we know we have to increase this length, and to do that I'm going to cut this section out and make a new bit, extend it that distance. What I've done is started off with a folded section like this, and then all I need to do is curve it by using the shrinker and the stretcher. Because this distance from there to there is longer than this distance from there to there, this section needs to be stretched. This top section is straight, so the first shrink is going to be there, and I'm also going to want to stretch this at the same time. Make sure that the fold stays straight. That's fitting reasonably well now. It lines up fairly well that way and that way, but I would actually like to bend it a little bit more. I didn't quite put enough fold on it. I could just weld this on and then hit this with a hammer to fold it in, but you always want to shape parts as much as you possibly can off the vehicle. You might be wondering how I'm going to fold this a little bit more. Obviously it's in a banana shape now and I can't put it in the fly press, but there is some rolls I made to help me do this. And there they are, just a groove cut into this bottom die and just roll it through, but you do have to go gentle with it, otherwise it will start to indent on either side. If you go gentle, it will do it no problem. What do you think, Mr. Clamp? Is it any good?
Oh, no.
In my day, things were done rather differently. None of this namby-pamby MIG welding. Don't worry about Mr. Clamp. He means well. He's just a bit set in his ways. Okay, next thing to do, we're going to cut this off. We've got to cut out a shape, something like that. Remove the rear valance as it's only screwed on, and then start putting some English wheel shape into this panel. What we have then is a small curve in that direction and a big curve in that direction, and the actual amount of double curvature we need will be somewhere in the middle of those two. What I've done is chosen a wheel that best fits the most curved part of the panel I want to make. The flatter the wheel, the better job it will do at producing the part. A higher crown wheel will do the same job, but there's a much smaller contact area and more likely to put lines in your panel. Most of the crown seems to be in this section here. It's pretty straight there, straight up here reasonably. It all needs some, but the most of it is concentrated down here, which will be this section here. I'm not going to go into detail on English wheel techniques because there's a lot of other people with YouTube channels that know an awful lot more than I do. I've just taught myself. But basically all we're doing is stretching the metal. It's starting to take on the shape we want now. See, it's curving away at the end. I think now is the time to scribe a line so we know this panel goes back in the same place each time. It definitely needs some more curve there, and it needs some more curve down there as well by the looks of it. It's getting closer now. I've trimmed out this section so the panel can sit a bit more flush. We've got a nice bit of curve down the bottom now. There is a bit of a flat spot, I'd say, about here, so I need a bit more crown there. That's better, but it needs a bit more, I'd say. These are the two sections I want to concentrate on, but when I track, I won't be going back forwards to the limit of this bit I've marked out. It will be up, down to there, down to there, up to there, down to there, never stopping in the same place, otherwise you'll get high spots and an uneven curve. I'm just going to shrink around the edges a little bit just to bring these down, and shrinking the edge will pull it in the direction I want it to go. Not a lot, but enough to make a difference. Next thing to do is to mark out where these swage lines need to be. Just got a straight edge. I'll mark it on one side and then transfer it to the other. I've put the folds in. Just did it on a fly press with a bending tool. Now I need to make sure these are lining up nice. Best to check it from both ends. And it's just a case of scribing down here. That's our folded edge done on the bead roller, and then shrunk the edge to curve it. The last thing to do, we've got enough of the old wing, luckily, so we can scribe that line and then joggle the edge to meet the back of the rear valance. I've put the joggled edge in here, and I did that with these step rollers. The panel's got some screws in it to hold it on, and the last thing to do is fold this edge. To help me do this, I've taken a thin bit of, this is aluminium, but it doesn't matter what it is, and I've shrunk it into a curve, and that means I can clamp it to the body and see what it looks like. And then you can just play around with the curve until you get what you think looks right. Scribe the line where I want it, and I can use this piece to transfer the line to the backside. As long as I mark the edges of the panel where it needs to go, we can do it that way. All that's left to do is cut around the edge and weld it in. And that is the panel fully welded. The only thing to keep an eye on is that this stays straight. It will dip down a little bit where the weld is because of shrinkage, but because this wing is coming off, I can dress that out later. There's a bit here that's a bit low, a bit lower than the rest. But as I say, it'll be easier to get to the inside with the wing off. And that concludes part 8 of the Alfa Romeo restoration. Thanks for watching.